now I'm just cold as ice.
Hey there guys, and welcome back to Fail Tankadin's Guide to Pally Tanking. In this one, we're going to go over the talents and the actual glyphs that we use for paladin tanking. I just want to touch some base on some key points. I'm not going to go over every little point in the talent tree, but some things that some of the Pally tanks might not realize at the moment, especially if you're a new Pally tank. The first thing is let's look at Vengeance. Vengeance, each time you take damage, you gain 5% of the damage taken as attack power up to a maximum of 10% of your health. So what this means is as we're taking damage, we're running in, our attack power is actually building up to 10% of our health. If you have 15k hit points, you're actually ending up with 1500 attack power in addition to your original attack power. So that's something not a lot of Pally tanks probably think about, especially if you're new to Pally tanking. You probably don't realize that. Judgment of the Wise. Now something I want to point out about Judgment of the Wise, as of right now in 4.1, if you miss with Judgment of the Wise, you are not getting that 30% mana back. So that's a big difference. That's a big disadvantage. In 4.2, they're going to change that. As soon as you cast Judgment of the Wise, you will get that 30% mana. Just keep that in mind as you're tanking. If you miss with your Judgment, you're not going to get that mana back. Going into the talent tree. Ever since I put Word of Glory on a 20-second cooldown, I have dropped Eternal Glory. I've also dropped Guarded by the Light. These aren't as efficient as some of the other points that you can put into, since Word of Glory is really on a 20-second cooldown. Some of the other points I wanted to talk about is I did put 1 point into Hollowed Ground. This is going to make it usable so that when you do need it, if you're out of your cooldowns or if you're in between on your Crusader Strike, you're not totally draining all of your mana. It's actually really nice just to have 1 point in there. 2 points is a waste. You put 2 points into that, you're going to sacrifice in some other area. 1 point's all you really need into Hollow Ground. It's going to reduce the mana cost by 40%. I suggest you take Divine Guardian. I've actually seen some Pally tanks running around without Divine Guardian. It's kind of not that great of an idea, considering your 20% reduction to all raid damage. And raids, that's huge, especially something like the defense system, where you get your flame jets flying around. You pop your Divine Guardian, you're going to help your healers out. The other thing I wanted to point out is a lot of paladins don't even realize it's Sanctuary. If you read the bottom here, in addition, when you block or dodge melee attacks, you gain 3% of your maximum mana. So what this is great for is as we increase our dodge, as we increase our block, we're going to be getting more and more mana. If you're having mana issues, don't try and stack mana for it. Don't put intellect. That's crazy as a paladin. You actually want to focus on increasing that dodge and increasing that block chance. Some other things, the Shield of the Templar is going to give you 3 holy power when you pop your Divine Plea. That's huge. It's also reducing your Guardian of the Ancient Kings and some of the other stats. Also, one other thing I wanted to point out is Holy Shield. This ability is actually going to reduce the damage that you take every time you block by 10%. It's not increasing your chance to block, just how much damage you take when you do block. Also, this is going to change in 4.2. As of 4.1, Holy Shield procs off of your Inquisition or your Shield of the Righteous. It does proc off of Inquisition, so when you AoE tank, you don't have to try and get Shield of the Righteous off. When 4.2 rolls around, this is actually going to be a cooldown. It's going to be a clicky. You're actually going to have to click on it, but they're going to increase the amount blocked by 20%, giving you a total of 50% damage block. It's going to be 30 seconds. It's going to last for 10 seconds, and it's not going to initiate the global cooldown, so you'll be able to work it into some macros. Other than that, everything else is pretty much a given. You pretty much are going to take that, whatever, the rest of the stats there to get up till you can put into other points here. I want to point out, I've seen a lot of paladins take Judgment of the Pure. Don't take Judgment of the Pure. I'll explain why. All of your abilities that are melee abilities have cooldowns. There's nothing that you can actually spam, or that's even a cast, to reduce the increase your haste. You're not casting anything as a paladin. The only thing that it would help is your actual melee attack swing, your basic swing, and that's not generating much threat. You're really not going to get much out of that. Instead, you want to make sure you put points into Rule of Law. This is going to increase your Crusader Strike and your Hammer of the Righteous critical chance. That's going to help. Since we're spamming Crusader Strike and Hammer of the Righteous, you really want to put those points into that. Another ability, Pursuit of Justice. The reason why I took Pursuit of Justice is we get two advantages. One is we increases our movement speed by 15%. That actually helps with moving bosses around and boss fights. You can get a little bit ahead of the DPS, especially if you're moving bosses around, which is a big part of raiding. It gives you that little bit of boost, a little bit ahead of the game. The other advantage is that 100% chance every time you're struck with stun, fear, immobilize effects. All of those are going to count towards putting in holy power. So anytime you get an ability like that, you're not losing a whole lot of DPS. I've also seen some tanks taking an eye for an eye. I just want to touch base on this. If you notice, it says 20% chance of a magic attack. Alright, as a tank, your main thing is you're taking physical damage. I'm not saying you're not taking magic damage, but most of the time you're not taking a whole lot of magic damage because you're either interrupting the abilities that they're casting on you, or it's an AoE thing that the whole raid is getting hit on. And even of 5 magic attacks, only one of those is actually going to go back to the boss. So of that one attack, you're only getting 30% of that damage done back to the boss. So when you really think about it, you're really not doing almost hardly any damage back to the boss unless you're constantly getting spammed with magic attacks. So you're better off putting it into improved judgment. It allows you for farther pulling. It allows you to hit farther targets. It's once you use it, it kind of seems like it wouldn't be that great of an ability, but once you start using it, it's a great ability to have. Alright, we've gone through the talents, kind of summed them up real quick. I'm just going to run down the basic glyphs. Glyph Shield of the Righteous, must have, increases your damage by Shield of the Righteous. Shield of the Hammer of the Righteous, obviously we're using Hammer of the Righteous all the time. Expertise, this is going to be huge. At 4.1 it only affects your Seal of Truth. At 4.2 it affects one of your other seals, however I don't remember which seal that is. Let me remove my intellect buff there, I was healing earlier. Alright, for Crusader we have our Ascetic Crusader. It reduces the mana cost of our Crusader Strike. This is pretty big considering we're spamming Crusader Strike. That's going to help ease up on the mana. We have, that's a minor glyph, we're not going to worry about that. Lay on Hands. I chose Lay on Hands because how many times have you run into this situation where you're running a little bit low, you just need a little bit of oomph to get past this next hit, and you go to Lay on Hands and it's not there. Obviously you're going to want to take the Lay on Hands, it's a great glyph to have. Now here's something that you may or may not take. Glyph of Focus Shield. I took Glyph of Focus Shield because I'm mainly tanking single target bosses and raids. Fail Tankin is more set up for raiding, he's not set up for heroics. So that's why I took Glyph of Focus Shield. If you're running a lot of heroics and you have a lot of mobs that you're tanking, you're doing a lot more AoE tanking than bosses, you can switch out the shield, Focus Shield for Glyph of Holy Wrath. It also now stuns elementals and dragonkins. That's really going to help you with Grim Batol and some of the other places like VP or Vortex Pinnacle. So that's my talents. Those are the glyphs I chose. That's why I chose them. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and hit me up, leave a comment, or leave a comment in the forum here. For now, guys, this is Fail Tankin. I'm hoping that this is useful, and I'm out.
Blah, blah, blah. Hot from your block. Spot on your pavement. Swerve from the curb.